Welcome back to Leaving Cert Plus. This is lesson 1.18, our second lesson looking at long division. This first question has a few parts that are a little bit different to the ones we tried in the previous lesson. If you want, you can pause the video now and give this question a go. So we're asked to divide this cubic function by this linear function. What you'll notice is that this cubic function has no x squared. So if you are given a cubic function with no x squared, you want to draw in a 0x squared. And basically what this is doing is basically leaving space in this column for your x squareds, because you're going to get some x squared. So your first key take home, if you're not given an x squared, put in a 0x squared in a cubic function. And after this, it's just regular long division. So it's this x here, what you need to multiply that by to get the x cubed. Your answer is x squared. Then you multiply in that x squared and you'll get x cubed plus x squared. Then you're going to change their sign, so that's negative and that's negative. So you'll get minus x squared, bring down your negative 13. And then you have to ask, what am I multiplying this by to get that? The answer is just negative x. Then multiplying that negative x into these two terms, and you'll get the next line, which is just minus x squared minus x. Change their signs, so positive and positive, and you're going to get minus 12x, bring down that minus 12. And then you're asking again, what do we need to multiply this x by to get your minus 12x? And the answer there is minus 12. So you'll get your last line, then take them away, so positive and positive, and you'll get 0 remainder. So the last part of the question then says, hence, find the other two factors. So really what this is saying is you got to take your answer, so that x squared minus x minus 12, and factorize it. So we factorize it and we find the final two factors. Okay, so these are the three factors of this original cubic equation. So really what we've done here, if you take a simple example, maybe something like 24, we could break 24 into 12 and 2. So we were originally given 2, and we divided that 2 into the 24. So when we divided the 2 into the 24, we got a larger factor of 12. But that 12 could be broken down into two further factors, which are linear factors, such as 3 and 4. What's also important to note is that if we multiplied all of these three factors together, these three linear factors, you'd get your original product of your x cubed minus 13x minus 12. In similar fashion, if you multiplied your 3 by the 4 by the 2, you'd still get your 24. Okay, so just to compare it to a simple example. I've got one question for you. I'd like you to pause the video and give this a go yourself. Okay, so here we're dividing this cubic function again by a linear function. So when writing it out, we had one thing we had to remember, and that was to include this 0x squared. Sorry, so it's an x cubed plus 0x squared. So I'm just leaving room down here for our x squareds, and then minus 28x plus 8. So then it's just regular division. We're asking what do we need to multiply that by to get this. The answer is 12x squared. Then you got to multiply in that 12x squared, so you get 36 x cubed, and you get minus 24 x squared. Then you want to take them away, so that's negative, that's positive, so you got positive 24 x squared, and you can bring down that negative 28x. Then you're asking what do I need to multiply my 3x by to get 24x squared. That's going to be positive 8x. So multiplying in that 8x, then you're going to get 24x squared, and you get negative 16x. So taking away these, that's minus and that's positive. And if you take 28 away from 16, you're going to get negative 12x. Bring down your 8, that's positive 8. We got to multiply this by minus 4 to get minus 12x. So minus 4 being multiplied into the final two numbers, then you're going to get minus 12x, and you get positive 8. So taking them away, you'll see you have no remainders as 0. So this is our quadratic then as your answer, but they asked us to fully factorize. So we have to factorize this quadratic like we've seen in the last example. So that's 12x squared plus 8x minus 4 to be factorized. So you could say that's 6x and 2x, and maybe you could try 2 and 2. So on the outside we've got 12, so we got 12x, and inside we've got 4x. So if you take away the 4 from the 12, so with a negative here and a positive here, you'll get your 8x minus 2 by 2 is going to give us minus 4. So that's good enough to be the answer. Okay, so these are your final two factors along with your original 3x minus 2. So those guys are your three factors. So when you multiply them all together, you're going to get this. Okay, but that's really all for the second lesson on long division. Key take homes: if you're not given an x squared, put in an x squared. So it's 0x squared into your cubic function. Then if they ask you to fully factorize, which we're going to see a lot in our cubic questions, you just have to factorize this quadratic you got on top. That's all for lesson 1.18. Thanks for watching Leaving Cert Plus. I'll see you again in lesson 1.19.
If you like this video, you'll love our notes. You can get some for free in the link in the description of this video.